Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. My name is Jeffrey and I'll be your host. Today's topic is doing your laundry in the 1800s. Laundry was usually done on a specific day a week, and it took about 8 to 9 hours for a household to actually complete their laundry for the week. Now, before I get started, laundry could be hired out to women who wanted to earn money on their own. Laundresses can be seen all over, but some of the more prominent places would be in cities, and then during wartime near the military encampments, since those soldiers needed their laundry cleaned. But if you did laundry on your own as just a normal household, you have a process that you really have to go through. First, you have to find what water sources your family would have to actually do their laundry. Now, here at the Stephenson house, the obvious answer would be the well. That well has a spring that is 36 feet down in the actual ground. So they had a good source of water to actually do most of their needs. We can't use this well now because the spring has been contaminated by gasoline and oil. There used to be a gas station, I think it was a Clark's gas station, used to sit right next to where the well is located now. If you didn't have access to a well and spring water, another use that we have here at the Stephenson house is rain barrels. When it rains, those barrels will collect the rainwater, which is very clean, and so people can use those to do their dishes with or do their laundry with. We have rain barrels outside of our kitchen and what is now our wash house. We actually don't use the water in those barrels. It's just for more show of what the Stephenson family would have done if they still lived here. If people were not lucky enough to have a well or rain barrels, their other choices of water would be a stream, creek, river, or lake. There are a few creeks around Edwardsville that people could take their laundry to. It would be great if wherever you built your house you had a river that had a constant stream, because then you can just take your laundry there and then the current could wash your clothes for you. Once you've found your water source, then you can actually figure out where you want to do your laundry. As I just stated, if you have a river that's close by, you'll just take your laundry there. If you don't, then you might have a couple other options that you would want to use. If it's nice outside, laundry would be done outside around an open fire. During the colder months, laundry may be done in the kitchen. If a family was lucky enough and wealthy enough to have a wash house, then laundry was done in that building. In my personal opinion, it's easier to do laundry outside since it does cause a lot of messiness. When we do laundry in our wash house, the cleanup is ridiculous, and it would go the same if we did the laundry in the kitchen. Water just gets everywhere, and so it's easier for us to do it outside where the water either gets sunk into the ground or it just evaporates. Now, going into the process of how you actually do your laundry, first, you have to take your water from whatever water source you have and fill a big kettle. If we're doing laundry at the Stephenson house, we use our well bucket and then we take the water out of the well. It'll usually take us about maybe 20 to 30 buckets if we're using the well water to actually fill what we actually need to do laundry. It takes about 50 gallons or so to fill the big kettle and then the accompanying wash bins. Once you have your 40 to 50 gallons of water, then you will proceed to heat up the water in the big kettle. Since the big kettle is where you're going to do most of the first process, that water needs to be very warm. So obviously you'll start the water and then you'll let it boil and heat up. Once your water is heated up, you're going to throw all of your clothes into that and use a laundry fork to agitate the clothes. The agitation will get all of the initial grime and dirt out of them. If you have a larger family, children are the best candidates for this job because it's tedious and it'll take the entire day. The children will be used to carry the water to the kettles and the wash bins, and then they will do the agitation of the clothing. Since both of those are easy jobs, but they're just labor-intensive jobs, children are easy candidates to have them do that work. It also could be a little dangerous if you weren't careful working around the big kettle because it is an open fire. If you happen to slip or your shoes get wet from the water, you could slip into the fire and burn yourself. You wouldn't really die or anything, but it definitely would hurt. The next process is once you have the clothes properly agitated, they can be transferred to the wash tubs. This is where a lot of your actual washing that we think of happens. The soap is used in the wash tubs to scrub the clothes. We'll usually use a variation of lye soap. The Stephenson family would have used lye soap to wash their clothing. If you don't know what lye soap is, it's a mix of animal fat and some fragrance, like either flowers or some nicer smelling herbs. That's what most of your soaps are going to be made out of, which is animal fat and an herb to make it smell better. Once the clothes have been properly scrubbed, they can be taken out to dry on a line. This is pretty much the only way that you're going to dry your clothes is by letting them sit out. There was no other really good way to dry clothes. We don't have dryers yet, so just the good old-fashioned, sunlight is going to really dry your clothes the fastest. Now, if you are a messy person or if you work hard out in the fields, you may get stains on your clothing. If clothes do have stains, there are a few ways to get them out. The first way is salt is used to rub into your clothes so it can react with the fabric. The salt will get those lesser stains out. Vinegar can also be used to rub in your clothes. Vinegar is a good substance to, again, get those not so heavy stains out of your clothing. If your clothes need to be bleached, grass and sunlight are the best ways to bleach your clothing. What you do for the grass bleach is you just lay the clothing piece on a flat patch of green grass, and then the grass will react with the sunlight automatically, and that will bleach out the stains that your clothing item had. If your clothing items do have stains and the normal washing with the lye soap doesn't work, then you obviously do the stain removers. If you do the salt and vinegar, you want the clothing to sit for a while after using the salt and vinegar so it has time to react. Then once it has sat there while you're finishing up other pieces of laundry, you'll take it out of its basket where you will have placed it, and then you start the process of laundering those clothes a second time. So you'll go through the whole process of agitating it through the hot water, and then you'll wash it with your wash tubs, and then you'll hang it up to dry. If the stain persists, then you can try the stain removers a second time. But that's about the process of trying to remove stains. The reason why people only did laundry once a week, even though most of our households maybe only do laundry once a week, but they didn't have as many clothing items as we do now. We kind of pick and choose what we wear every week. But people in the 1800s would wear the same piece of clothing for several days to avoid having to do a lot of laundry. If they did what we do now, where we take off all of our clothes and put them in the laundry every single day, they would have more than just a week's worth of clothing, and it would take them longer than 8 to 9 hours of actually doing their laundry. They may only wash a couple pairs of pants or a couple dresses, some other undergarments, but nothing like we do now. They also didn't own as much clothing as we do. Men would have a pair of working trousers and maybe a pair for special events or a church. He would have a few linen shirts and maybe 2 or 3 vests and maybe a couple of different jackets, but nothing really that major. Women would have a few pair of undergarments, and they may have 3 to 4 dresses at the most, and then maybe only 1 to 2 day caps or 1 to 2 different styles of hats. They really didn't have a lot of clothing, especially if they were a working class family. Now, if you're a little wealthier, you may have more sets of clothing, but then again, you're not the ones who are doing your laundry. You would probably have yours paid, or you would have servants to do the laundry for you. But most working class homes didn't have more than 2 to 3 outfits that they would wear on a regular basis. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our laundry podcast. I just wanted to give a basis of how people would actually launder their clothing items, since we probably don't think about laundry being an all-day working project. So just wanted to give a quick background on how laundry worked. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy, and we will talk to you all next time.